My name is Lossett. I'm from Southern California. I've lived most of my life there, but now I visit convention centers around the country on a weekly or monthly basis. I learned how to play I think I was a sophomore in high school, and a guy in my French class had a starter deck revised. We split it in half, and we played against each other a few times. His starter deck notably did not have any islands in it. There were blue cards in the pool, so we just couldn't cast those. We got probably 20% of the rules right. So like anything that used an activated ability just died. Combat damage didn't clear at the end of the turn. Not much right really was going on. And then I didn't start playing an actual turn, like I didn't get a DCI number until after college, so not till probably like 6 years later. And I've been playing, I never took a long break like a lot of people do. I don't know, they have children or they have a job that takes them away or they burn out. That didn't really happen to me. So once I started playing competitively, I've played pretty much consistently ever since then. Being on the team is, I don't know, I mean, this is still kind of a new thing to me. Like, I've been on a team in the past, but it was more of just like a co-sponsorship thing. This feels more like an actual group that works together, sort of. I'm the new guy on the team. I've only been here, for about a month, and they've been together. Some of them have been together for most of a year already. So they kind of have some of their patterns set, and I'm just kind of getting used to it and kind of trying to see where I fit in. But it's definitely, you have a bigger sounding board for ideas, and like we have the group message board, which gets used some, and there's some, I think over time we'll develop the process a little better, but it is nice to have just a group, and you get cool clothing, and between like at events, like I know I have people to bounce ideas off of. Not that I don't anyway, but it's consistent people because they're generally here, and that makes a difference, I think. My goals for myself and my teammates. Well, my goal for myself is to be better than my teammates. I mean, let's put that out there. I'm sure everybody on the team wants to be, do the best on the team. I know I do. The idea of the team is to get as many people consistently going to the Pro Tour as possible, and that's great. It's definitely nice. Like, I've played in the last 3 Pro Tours, and this most recent one with Card Hoarder was the one I enjoyed the most because I had a group of people going in, like, that I went with that, we stayed together, we practiced together, and it was just more cohesive, and we accomplished more than I did on the previous teams where it was kind of haphazard, people thrown together to practice. But yeah, my goal is, I mean, honestly, I just hit silver, and my goal is to try and hit gold this year. I don't know that that's something I'm realistically going to be able to accomplish, but that has to become the goal now. And if you can't always meet your goals, that's okay. But I think I guess that's what I'm reaching for now. Changing tournament circuits, like the Star City circuit is where I've played the last several years, and it's kind of like home, like going to those events, like once a month or however often. That's just what I'm doing, and checking up on the leaderboard and knowing who I'm competing against. The Grand Prix circuit is much. There are more. I mean, the events are much bigger, but there's only so many people that are actually trying to accumulate like consistently traveling to go to events. It's still more than there were for Star Cities. I feel like the main difference is the average player in a Star City event, I feel like, is the exact same as the average player at a Grand Prix. But the absolute top level players in Star City are not as good as the top level players in Grand Prix. I feel like I'm a good example of that, because whereas most people would put me at or near the top of skill level at Opens, at a Grand Prix, I feel like there are dozens of players that are significantly better than I am. So it's kind of a new hurdle to climb, and honestly, it seems it's daunting because like those guys, a lot of those guys are really good, and I feel like, boy, it's such a large gap between levels. Like I think that's something that kind of goes unsaid. Like the distance between an average player and myself, I think, is a lot bigger than most people realize. But the different distance between myself and a top level player is also just vast, and it's really intimidating almost. Like playing at the Pro Tour last week, I find myself just making more errors than my opponents are, and I'm used to being on the other side of that. So it's kind of unpleasant, but it's also like, there's a lot of work to do here, and a lot of catching up to do.